This is not an anomaly. This is the way you meant it to be. This is the way you were born. This is the way your little kids are. Don't talk them out of it. When they have an impulse, don't try to hammer them as a square peg into a round hole, or other way around, into what society is demanding from them. Give them the freedom to translate the source perspective, because source has a broad perspective. Do you know that your inner being knows everything that you are asking for, and knows where you stand in vibrational proximity to it, and knows how to guide you through the path of least resistance to each and everything that you want? Through the path of least resistance. Did you hear those words? Which is the same thing as the path of most allowance. Path of least resistance, meaning that if you're like most people, you've thrown some resistance on your trail because you've lived life, you've seen things you don't want, and you've got some stuff active in your vibration. So when you ask for something, sometimes there's some vibration that's in the way. But your inner being knows all of the vibrations that you've put in your way and is calling you around it. That's why it takes you a little while to get there, because you sort of have to go over and around and under and through the resistance that you've put there. So when we get together with you, our dominant intent is to help you feel a desire to get more and more resistance out of your way. In other words, feel better more of the time. Which means you got to understand law of attraction, because whatever you're focused upon, law of attraction is going to add to. So if you catch your negative thought, your negative pushing against something, if you catch your defying your own desire in the early stages before it gathers much momentum, it's easier to stop. Esther will never forget her first time on top of a hill in San Francisco. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe that people actually lived there and drove up and down those hills. Wouldn't it be interesting if you were top of one of those hills, you take your car out of gear, you take the parking brake off, and you just stand outside of it, put it in neutral, and nudge it just a little bit from behind, because you're sort of interested in what will happen to your car. Well, it's not a big mystery, is it? Because you know that the momentum of that car is going to become quite quickly. But if you realize it and you just step out in front of it and let it bump up against you, no big deal. But you wouldn't want to be at the bottom of the hill stopping that car, because that momentum is hard to stop. And that really is the point that we're making about your thoughts. If you can catch the momentum early and choose a different thought, it's easy to do that. But if there is momentum, don't beat up on yourself. It's nearly impossible to stop a strong thought all at once. Train's going 80 miles an hour that way. You wouldn't want it all of a sudden to go 80 miles an hour that way. It would be very hard on what's inside the train. And that's true of you too. Just let it slow down and then let it speed up. And that's what deliberate creating really is. So the first order of business is caring about how you feel. Caring about how you feel, which means you are aware that you have a guidance system, which means you are aware that you have things in your vibrational reality, in your vortex, in your vibrational reality, and that source energy is giving you clues and ideas and impulses and thoughts that if you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, if you're feeling good, you're going to catch those in the early subtle stages. And what begins to happen when you're flowing like that, you begin to feel the ease and flow of your life experience. Almost as quickly as you define that you'd like something, things start actualizing around it. And what fun it is to be in that conscious awareness of the entire universe having your back, the entire universe assisting you in each and everything you want. Not just some of the things, all of the things. And often when you get really good at this, which means when you clear your energy really well, when you're feeling good more and more of the time, the things you want that get dovetail into one moment in time will knock your socks off. It's just wonderful to be living in that sort of deliberate allowing phase.